Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today?
Good.
How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We
It's
have
time
arrived.
to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We
It's
have
time
arrived.
to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing? Welcome to the Thursday edition of First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here. Today is the 6th of March, 2014. So we have a transition taking place, going from Taurus to Gemini. Down here, we see our transition takes place this evening at 8:37 p.m. So we are at the closing out stages of the moon sign going into the next one. So Taurus, remember, is an earth sign. So we're going from the earth, the way in which we find practical ways to make use of the energy. And we're moving into Gemini, which is air. Words, action, communication, how we communicate our subconscious, how we communicate what is in our subconscious. So we're dealing with the elements of air underneath, the unconscious, and water on the outside, Pisces. So air and water. Okay, the water, the emotions is the conscious mind that everything is being channeled through at this point. So we need to, during the time of Pisces, just really look at how our emotions are being affected, because that's the important lesson there. And it's a big lesson because our emotions can really do a lot to us. We all know how they can be affected. So air and water are what we're going to be looking at as we complete and get into this transition. And we do have one triangle here, trine between Venus and the moon sign, which is Gemini. That'll happen later tonight. And that's nice, good, smooth communication once you have the Gemini, which is the communicator, and you have the imagination, the Venus. Bring them together. Could bring for some nice harmony, communicating what's in the imagination in a nice way. And then when you bring the emotions into it of Pisces, it can act as a nice way to really bring things together smoothly and creatively. So just look what might be going on this evening. Have a notebook handy in case you have any brilliant ideas you need to jot down. The numerology for today is the number 7. Here's how we arrived at it. Okay, we've got March 3rd. We've got the date is the 6th, 2014. So 3 plus 6 plus 7 for the 2014. That's 13 plus 3, 6. 1 plus 6 of 16 equals 7. There you go. Through theosophic subtraction, we arrive at the number 7. 7 is the Chariot. We all know 7 as a magical number, 7 days of the week. We see 7 over and over and over again in the book of Revelation throughout the Bible. So here we have the Chariot. This is an astrological sign of Cancer. Represents the idea of dealing with our emotions, because the Cancerian energy, or the charioteer, is going through the field of emotions, and therefore the armor is worn to protect the charioteer from all of the emotions. There's 2 sphinx in the middle, black and white, saying the opposites of life. Sphinx represent riddles. So you got these 2 sphinx, which are the riddles of life, opposites of life, and the only way they can move forward is by this charioteer allowing spirit to move through and be the guiding force. Because with all of the emotions going on, the charioteer needs to find a way to really move through that battlefield. And the best way is to allow spirit to flow through. And that's what this is all about. It's about getting control of the emotions, because they're very, very powerful. And the more that we are able to understand and pull our emotions together, they can work for us instead of against us. So here's some of the qualities of the 7 as we go about the day, just thinking about the numbers for today. 7 isn't just a lucky number, it's also spiritual, intelligent, analytical, focused, introspective, studious, intuitive, knowledgeable, contemplative, serious, persevering, refined, gracious, and displays much inner wisdom. 7s can be aloof, distant, sarcastic, socially awkward, melancholic, cowardly, and when they're at their worst, backstabbers. And as I just said, associated with a chariot and Cancer, sign of Cancer. All right, we have over here the sky tonight. Okay, this is this week as we're looking at it the next couple days. After nightfall, look for Aldebaran to the upper left of the moon, and the Pleiades to the moon's upper right. Okay, so as we see the moon right here, we'll see the moon, and we look to the left, Aldebaran, and up here the Pleiades. So that's what we're going to be looking tonight as you're seeing that. All right, and it says looking south high into the sky. So look at the moon to the left, you'll see Aldebaran, and up here. Very good. All right, the moon phase for today we could see is that crescent moon, 32% of the way full. Waxing means going up. The Mayan Oracle, we're at a 10-tone day, which is called the planetary tone day, planetary tone of manifestation. We have a hand, which is the kin for today, which is accomplishment, healing as well. We have the eagle, which is about vision. So we have accomplishment guided by vision, and it's the planetary tone of manifestation. So the manifestation of accomplishment by our vision. It's a good idea, good energy. Like-minded energy here that we're working with today is our free will. The challenge for today is to get in synchronicity with what's going on, and the hidden power is to understand everything is timeless. Life continues on. Phrase for today is I perfect in order to know, producing healing. I seal the store of accomplishment with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of vision. And we are right in the middle pillar as we have been and will continue to be over the course of this week and next week. So here we are again. The middle pillar is the one which everything revolves around it, the first 6 and the last 6, and this one is that center space, the eye of everything, the center of everything that's revolving around it. So it's a good place to get a bird's eye view of what's taking place in the world around you as it just sort of revolves and spins. And we go over to space weather and our solar wind, 460.6 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is in the 2s. Here's our big coronal holes. We could see them almost directly facing us. 2 good size holes. Certainly going to be sending wind out into space. We're told that around the 9th or the 10th, it could sandwich Earth's magnetic field. So we'll pay attention to what happens around then. M-class flare possibility is at 60, X-class down at 5. Geomagnetic storm activity is very low as well. Alright, so that's what's going on today. UFO news is up next, so stay tuned. Here we go.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. UFO sighting number 1. This comes to us from Turin, Italy. Interesting footage of some kind of flying saucer flying across the sky above Turin, a city and an important business in the cultural center in northern Italy, capital of Piedmont region. This was taken on Tuesday, March 4th. All right, that's a pretty good sized object in comparison to the other objects that are out there. Now, it could be because it's a lot closer, so it looks bigger. But we definitely can see it. And there you go. That's a good sighting, good capture. All right, now let's go over to the next one. Here we have a witness watches bright yellow UFO descending towards the ground in North Carolina. A North Carolina witness driving along Monfield Clove Road near Union Mills reported watching a bright object moving towards the ground level that was about the size of a large-sized storage shed. When it reached the treetop level at about 8:44 p.m. on March 4th, according to the testimony in the MUFON database, the witness was driving home from work and just passed a church and a convenience store when the light in the sky first appeared to be a star. Remembering that it was too cloudy, I said to myself, "That's no star," the witness stated. "When I first saw it, it approximately was a mile away, maybe less. It was about the size of a basketball, maybe a little larger. As I got closer, it was about the size of a large-sized storage shed. The object then appeared to descend behind a nearby hill. As I drove closer to where it was, I saw it in the trees above the house, unsure whether it landed, as I was a little spooked, having seen the same thing where I work on October 25th, 2013, besides Lake Lure, and I wanted to get home before the kids went to bed. I would have stopped in retrospect. It emitted bright yellowish light, and then I got close. It was more orangish and appeared to be circular, but could have been a different shape as the light was so bright. The shape was indiscernible. He gave more details about his location. When I first saw it, I was near the county line for Rutherford and McDowell counties on Montford Cove Road. Okay, so very interesting indeed. It's North Carolina. Now we have an Oregon sighting. This is Roger Marsh at the Examiner. UFO witness at Cascadia driving along Moose Creek Road reported watching a diamond-shaped UFO with bright white lights landing on a nearby hill, according to the March 5 testimony in the database. The witness was driving home between 9 and 10 on January 23rd when the object was first seen. The case was filed with MUFON on March 5th. As I watched, I thought, keep forgetting to put my binoculars in the trunk. All of a sudden, I started not as long as a minute, but not as fast as a blink of an eye. It seemed that the whole world got black. The witness became frightened and left the scene. The witness provided 3 reference shots of the landing site. No information was available today regarding how long the event took place. The photos were taken, image 1, 2, and 3. They appear to show a rounded area on the ground as an indentation. So if we go here, let's look at the image he has right here. This is the pictures he took. All right. So there's a couple links. You could check it out. See what you think that might be, if that's anything of substance. Next we go over to this story here. It says National Archives in Adelaide, Australia, to release UFO classified reports. Classified reports of flying saucers and UFOs will be revealed at the National Archives in Adelaide on Wednesday, March 5th. Nick Gleghorn, director of the South Australian Office of the National Archives, will explore the topic of flying saucers and UFOs in Australia. The very first assembly of people wanting to know the truth behind flying saucers and UFO sightings happened in Melbourne in March 1949. The meeting happened at the federal government's newly established Aeronautical Research Laboratory. The 23 UFO enthusiasts from different countries and local groups who attended the congregation, the British Interplanetary Society, Royal Aeronautical Society, Commonwealth Air Force Corporation, Royal Australian Air Force, and the Army Research Establishment. The congregation of UFO enthusiasts were then called Aeronautical and Meteorological Phenomenon Research, led by Brian Boyle and Jack Sears. Ever since, Defense has been serious about its research effort, delving into the mystery of flying saucers and UFOs. Even with Minister for Air William McKinnon says that the problem is still one for psychologists than for defense authorities. Okay, so that's what's going out there in Australia. Here we have a report of a scientist who's devised a new method to search for extraterrestrial life. Astronomers have developed a new technique that could help detect the telltale chemical signs of extraterrestrial life in the atmosphere of an alien world. The new technique, developed by University of Washington, gauges the atmospheric pressure of exoplanets, or worlds beyond the solar system, by looking for a certain type of molecule. Understanding atmospheric pressure is the key to knowing if conditions that the surface of a terrestrial or a rocky exoplanet might allow liquid water, thus giving life a chance. The method, devised by Amit Misra, a UW astronomy doctoral student and co-authors, involves computer simulations of the chemistry of Earth's own atmosphere that isolate what we call dimmer molecules, which are pairs of molecules that tend to form at high pressures and densities in a planet's atmosphere. While there are many types of dimmer molecules, the research focused on only those of oxygen, researchers said. They ran simulations testing the spectrum of light in various wavelengths. Dimmer molecules absorb light in a distinctive pattern, and the rate at which they form is sensitive to the pressure or density in the planet's atmosphere. So the idea is that if we are able to do this for another planet, we could look for the characteristic pattern of absorption from dimmer molecules to identify them. The presence of such molecules, he said, likely means that the planet has at least 1/4 to 1/3 of the pressure of Earth's atmosphere. Powerful telescopes soon will come online, such as James Webb Space Telescope, scheduled for launch in March 2018. This may enable astronomers to use the method on distant exoplanets. With such enhanced tools, Misra said, astronomers might detect dimmer molecules in actual exoplanet atmospheres, leading to a clear understanding of the planet's atmosphere. The research may play a part in the ongoing search for life in the cosmos. The team realized along the way that oxygen dimmer molecules are often more detectable in the atmosphere than other markers of oxygen. That's important from a biological standpoint, Misra said. It's tied to photosynthesis. Now we have a pretty good evidence that it's hard to get a lot of oxygen in an atmosphere unless you have algae or plants that are producing it at a regular rate. So if we find a good target planet, you could detect those dimmer molecules, which might be possible within the next 10 to 15 years. That would not only tell you something about pressure, but actually tell you that there's life on that planet, he said. The study was published in the journal Astrobiology. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool that there's another method that's being looked at. And this story here I thought was pretty fascinating because it talks about Ukraine, and in light of all that's going on in Ukraine, and yesterday the UFO, all the different alien types that mentioned Ukraine, and here's something else. So maybe there's something more going on over there than what we're being told. Wouldn't be the first time. 1.3 meter body with crown and 65 million-year-old pyramid found in Crimea, Ukraine, March 2014. The date of discovery goes back to 2001, but added details in 2014. And here we have 3 source links. And it says, Shimfolpil Akhmiski, a Ukrainian scientist, discovered the oldest pyramid in the world. Most interestingly, it was found in the most beautiful corner of the country, in Crimea. As the ICTV channel reported, the finding was revealed by accident when, during the test alternative methods to finding water, Ukrainian scientist Vitaly Go discovered underground unknown object which proved to be a giant pyramid of 45 meters in height and a length of about 72 meters. Go said that the pyramid was built during the time of the dinosaurs. Crimean pyramid has a truncated top like a Mayan pyramid, but its appearance is more like an Egyptian. It is hollow inside, and a mummy of unknown creature is buried under the foundation. Under foundation is a small body in the form of a long mummy, 1.3 to 1.4 meters long, with a crown on his head. There is a resonance chamber of so-called sphinx. The pyramids were built in the era of the dinosaurs, says the scientist in an interview with ICTV. It remains unknown who built the pyramid. The unique building is the oldest on the planet, says Vitaly Go. So that's pretty interesting. There's a story there, 6 minutes for you, and here's another apparent look at this. Let's see if we can. And it's just giving some examples of how far back this pyramid dates. Okay, and some ideas of what it might be and how it might look. Interesting. Okay, the link's available. Pretty interesting, huh? So we're hearing UFO reports that are going on out of this region of Crimea. A lot of people are saying, well, what's going on with this region? And now we've heard about Ukraine the last 2 days in relation to UFO reports. Maybe there is definitely something more than what we understand going on there. Maybe Russia and the United States already are looking into this, and maybe that's what this has more to do with than anything else. All right, I'll be back momentarily. I've got some more stories for you, so stay tuned. Here we go. There we go.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Underground is where they live. In the bases that are secrets live. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives? Plausible deniability. That's their answer to all we think we see. So pay attention, read between the lines. Changes are happening, revealing lies. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lies? Now, underground is where they live. In the bases that are secretive. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lies? I can neither confirm or deny. They can neither confirm or deny. It's time for them, confirm or deny. No more secret lies. I don't know about you, but I can't stand it anymore. I know what I saw. You know what you saw. Stand up for yourself. Think for yourself. The truth is out there. No more lies. No more lies. No more lies.
All right. No more lies. 9/11. We're going to look at a story here about that. Now, we've heard for a long time. It's 2014. It's been 13 years. 13 years since that happened. And there are still people who don't know the truth because all they've heard is the story that has been told over and over and over and over again on the television, on the news that propagandize people. Anyway, here's a story. Ex-CIA pilot gives sworn testimony that no planes hit the Twin Towers. Wait a minute, this is what conspiracy theorists have been saying for years. Huh. U.S. will have to rebut or accept statement as truth. Let's check this out. A former CIA and civilian pilot has sworn an affidavit stating that no planes flew into Twin Towers as it would have been physically impossible. John Lear, the son of Learjet inventor Bill Lear, has given his expert evidence that it would have been physically impossible for Boeing 767s like flights AA-11 and UA-175 to have hit the Twin Towers on 9/11, particularly when flown by inexperienced pilots. No Boeing 767 airlines hit the Twin Towers as fraudulently alleged by the government media, NIST, and the contractors, he said in the affidavit. Such crashes did not occur because they are physically impossible as depicted for the following reasons. In all the cases of UAL-175 going to the South Tower, a real Boeing 767 would have begun telescoping when the nose hit the 14-inch steel columns, which are 39 inches on center. The vertical and horizontal tail would have been instantaneously separated from the aircraft, hit the steel box columns, and fallen to the ground. The engines, when impacting the steel columns, would have maintained their general shape and have fallen to the ground or have been recovered in the debris of the collapsed buildings. No Boeing 767 could attain a speed of 540 miles per hour at 1,000 feet above sea level. Parasite drag doubles with velocity, and parasite power cubes with velocity. The fan portion of the engine is not designed to accept the volume of dense air at that altitude and speed. This piece of alleged external fuselage containing 3 or 4 window cutouts is inconsistent with an airplane that hit 14-inch steel column boxes placed at over 500 miles an hour. It would have been crumpled. No significant part of the Boeing 767 or engine could have penetrated the 14-inch steel columns and 37 feet beyond the massive core of the tower without part of it falling to the ground. The debris of the collapse should have contained massive sections of the Boeing 767, including 3 core engines weighing approximately 9,000 pounds apiece, which could not have been hidden. There was no evidence of any of these massive structural components from either 767 at the waist WTC. Such complete disappearance of 767s is impossible. This affidavit, signed the 28th of January 2014, is part of a lawsuit being pursued by Morgan Reynolds in the United States District Court, Southern District of New York. In March 2007, Reynolds, a former chief economist under the George W. Bush administration, filed a request for correction with the U.S. National Institute of Science and Technology, citing his belief that the real commercial jets, Boeings, did not hit the WTC towers. Although the 9/11 Truth Movement initially rejected the no planes theory as too outlandish, after scientific and rational analysis, it has become widely accepted explanation of the evidence collected. And let's see, unlike any other form of statement, an affidavit becomes truth in law if it is not rebutted. It will now be up to critics of this theory to present their evidence and analysis to rebut the statement point by point. If they do not or cannot, then the U.S. government will be obliged to admit that the account given by the 9/11 Commission is wrong. All right, so it's pretty cool. Obviously, as you can see here, that this is still being researched. The ball hasn't been dropped, so there are people on the case. It's just these are taking a long time, and it's not being talked about in the public eye, so you don't hear about it. But behind the scenes, there's a lot of organizations that are out there checking into this. So that's very good, very good. That's how we get to the bottom of what's going on. A lot of people died. We need to know the truth. We need to know the truth. All right. Here's a story. It says, "Don't worry, sir. It's only a nuclear reactor. Boy of 13, record-breaking experiment in school science lab." At the best school science, all the best school science experiments carry at least one hint of danger. But when a 13-year-old, Jamie Edwards, informed his stunned headmaster of his plan to build a nuclear reactor in a classroom, the obvious question was, will it blow the school up? Fortunately, in a victory for the spirit of amateur scientific discovery over the health and safety culture, Jamie's promise that it was perfectly safe was believed. And yesterday, he became the youngest person in the world to achieve nuclear fission from scratch at his Lancashire secondary school, using high energy to smash two hydrogen atoms together to make helium. It's quite an achievement. It's magnificent, really, Jamie said afterwards. I can't quite believe it, even though all my friends think I am mad. Jamie, who attends Penworth Priory Academy near Preston, has been fascinated with radiation for years, on one occasion even buying a Geiger counter with his Christmas money. His fusion ambition was sparked by reading about a 14-year-old U.S. schoolboy, Taylor Wilson, who had become the youngest to produce a small fusion reactor in Nevada in 2008. I looked at it, thought, that looks cool, and decided to have a go, Jamie said. And this is his 5-step to fusion chamber. Jamie's first step was to enlist help from nuclear laboratories and university departments, but they didn't seem to take me seriously. So that left the laboratories at his schools and the task of convincing headmaster Jim Horrigan. Fortunately, the head agreed, coming up with the necessary £3,000 of funding. I was a bit stunned, and I have to say a little nervous when Jamie suggested this, but he reassured me it wouldn't blow the school up. After months of work, the reactor was finally completed just ahead of his 14th birthday this weekend. And yesterday, in radiation-controlled area in a classroom, before an audience of experts, he flipped the switch and stared intently at his Geiger counter until it registered the fusion had indeed taken place, or created a star in the jar, as Jamie refers to it. Nuclear fusion, the reaction that powers the sun, is very different from nuclear fission, or the splitting of an atom that occurs in nuclear power stations and is the stuff of atom bombs. However, both vast amounts of energy. Scientists around the world are replicating Jamie's experiment, but on a much bigger scale, in the hope of using on a large scale to fuel cheap, environmentally friendly power stations. Jamie said, I heard the Geiger counter rapidly go up, and I was, what is that? He said in the afterglow of success. Then I looked over, and the neutron counter was right up off the scale nearly, and I thought, we must have done it. The experiment was assisted by electronics experts who tested the apparatus for safety, while Jamie, his friend George Barker, and the teachers involved all had attended a risk assessment course at the nuclear fuel company. For the next project, Jamie, who wants to be a nuclear engineer or work in theoretical physics, has his sights on building a miniature hadron collider. Alright, so, very interesting here. We got a young kid who's building a nuclear stuff. Now he wants to build a hadron collider. Let's hope that Jamie gets the proper guidance on where this is going, because these are some dangerous things if not really dealt with in the right way. So let's hope. Let's hope. Okay? Do the right, Jamie. Do it right. Those are smart things you're doing, but, you know. Okay. Dead Sea Scrolls. You've heard about them. This is all about the Dead Sea Scrolls. An archaeologist has announced a remarkable finding at the International Research Seminar, History of the Caves of Qumran, which was held in Lugano, Switzerland. 9 scrolls dating back 2,000 years containing biblical texts which were found in the Qumran caves, the famous caves that yielded the Dead Sea Scrolls over 7 decades ago. The scrolls were found hidden inside 3 leather phylacteries, pouches traditionally carried by observant Jewish men. According to the reports, the leather pouches were first pulled out of the Qumran caves in the 50s, but were never examined or analyzed until Jonathan Adler, an archaeologist from Ariel University, was working on materials from the old archaeological excavations and found the phylacteries. Using latest technology, including multispectral imaging carried out by the Israel Antiquities Authority, it is now possible to view the text on the ancient scrolls. I'm very proud that our laboratory, using the most advanced technologies, we can reconstruct the history of 2,000 years ago, said Pina Shore, head of the Laboratory for Conservation of IAA. Qumran was a town inhabited by an Essene community on the western shore of the Dead Sea in the West Bank, near the ruins of Jericho. The site was built between 150 BC and 130 BC and saw various phases of occupation. The town became famous in 1947 when a Bedouin shepherd unearthed one of the first of nearly 900 texts which became known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. Interesting, 47, it was a big year, also the year of Roswell. The Dead Sea Scrolls are a set of approximately 930 manuscripts, 750 in Hebrew, 150 in Aramaic, and a small number in Greek, written on animal skin parchment, which contains some of the oldest known versions of the Hebrew Bible and are said to be the greatest archaeological find in history. The scrolls have been dated from the late 3rd century BC to the 1st century AD and were discovered in a series of 11 caves near Qumran in the years 47 through 56. The ancient and the priceless texts have been dubbed the academic scandal of the 20th century because of the long delay in publication, which has been claimed is due to the controversial nature of its contents. The manuscripts shed unprecedented light on Judaism around the turn of the era at the time when Christianity was born, and some of the contexts conflict with the accounts contained in the New Testament. Only 20% of the texts were published upon their discovery. The other 80% remained locked away in a secret vault at the Rockefeller Museum in Jerusalem for 35 years, causing fury among archaeologists. The 9 newly found documents are from caves 4 and 5 and were excavated in 1952 by the archaeologist Roland Devise. Considering the academic scandal concerning the Dead Sea Scrolls, one has to wonder if they really have just been rediscovered or whether they too have been protected and hidden away. The content of the text has not yet been released. Okay, that's it for this article here. Very interesting. And so I want to continue on with the idea of the Essenes, who they were, what they were about. Here's another site if you want to go explore the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is a really cool site to go to. It's the Leon Levy Dead Sea Scrolls Digital Library. It says offers an exceptional encounter with antiquity. Using the world's most advanced imaging technology, the digital library preserves thousands of scroll fragments, including the oldest known copies of biblical text, now accessible to the public for the first time. Okay, we go up here, featured scrolls. The discovery of the make this a little wider so you can see better. The discovery of the first Dead Sea Scrolls in a remote Judean desert cave in 47 is widely considered the greatest archaeological event of the 20th century. Bedouin treasure hunters and archaeologists ultimately found the remnants of hundreds of ancient scrolls. These fragile pieces of parchment and papyrus, including the oldest existing copies of the Hebrew Bible, were preserved for 2,000 years by the hot, dry desert climate and the darkness of the caves where they were placed. The scrolls provided an unprecedented picture of the diverse religious beliefs of ancient Judaism and of daily life during the turbulent second period when Jesus lived and preached. Fragments of the book of the Hebrew Bible were found in the Qumran caves, the most famous of the Dead Sea Scroll sites. Remarkably, some of these ancient copies are identical to the traditional text of the Hebrew Bible that is used today. Other copies preserve differences in the text, which is the process of standardization. Among the oldest known copies of Genesis, the fragments of the scroll shown here contains the description of the first 3 days of the creation of the world. Here we have this small scroll presents one of the earliest known copies of the 10 Commandments, the Decalogue, a central dogma in Judaism and Christianity, and the majestic description of the divine revelation at Mount Sinai. I am the Lord your God who took you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You are to have no other gods but me. Here we have Book of Psalms is one of the best preserved biblical scrolls, containing 48 psalms, including 7 that are not found in the standard Masoretic version of the Bible. An additional prose passage provides one of the most ancient references to the King David as the composer of the Book of Psalms, and David the son of Jesse, was the wise and like the light of the sun, and he wrote 3,600 psalms. Psalm 133, shown here, praises peace and togetherness. It says how good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. Here we have Paleo-Leviticus. A copy of this book of Leviticus is written in the ancient Hebrew script used in the First Temple times. The fragment shown here deals with the prohibition against the ancient cultic practice of sacrificing children to the Semitic god Moloch and in punishments for violating this ban. Now it's interesting, while we're on this image, this particular one of Moloch, if we think about what goes on in Bohemian Grove, they have a large owl there, Moloch. And yet here we have something that says it's talking about, the fragment shown deals with the prohibition against the ancient practice of sacrificing children to Moloch. So if this is talking about it, the prohibition of it, which means not doing it, then what are they doing up there in Bohemian Grove? It's a good question. Good question indeed, but it seems to go against what this story is about. What this is about. The telephone found in the Qumran caves are the earliest known examples of these ritual objects. Leather capsules containing scrolls with excerpts of biblical texts. Modern version of these artifacts are still produced and used today. And then we have 12 minor prophet scrolls from the Judean desert offer early evidence of the compilation of these short prophetic books in a single literary work. This particular fragment from a Greek translator of the minor prophets, discovered in the cave of Horror at Nahal Neb, contains a prophecy of Micah about the end of days and the rise of a ruler out of Bethlehem. Non-biblical texts discovered among the Dead Sea Scrolls offer us a tantalizing glimpse of life during the Second Temple period and the opportunity to understand the attitudes, desires, and aspirations of the people of that time. Most of the scrolls from the Qumran caves are religious writings from the Second Temple period. Some of these reflect the life and philosophy of a distinct group that itself was called the Ahad community. At the other sites, major finds were administration and personal documents dating from the catastrophic Judean revolt around Rome in 133 to 35. Okay, and here we have from the book of Enoch, was not included in the canon of the Hebrew Bible. It tells of Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, who lived 365 years and walked with God. The displayed fragment describes the heavenly revolt of the fallen angels and the descent to earth to cohabit with the daughters of men and reveal secret knowledge to mankind. Then we have from the book of Daniel, we have something, book of war, details an apocalyptic 40-year battle between the forces of good and evil. We have 70 years after destruction of the Second Temple of Jerusalem, a charismatic leader known as Shimon bar Hokbah rose to lead a band of rebels intent on regaining Jewish autonomy. Documents from the Bar Kokhba caves are evidence of this tumultuous revolt. Okay, so this link's available, so you can check this one out. And the Qumran, well, the ones that were up there were the Essene community. And the Essene community is one of the communities that Jesus was also a part of as well. So was John the Baptist. When we hear the stories about them, they were taken there to the Essenes. They lived amongst them. Since the archaeological discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in 46, the word Essene has made its way around the world, often raising a lot of questions. Many people were astonished to discover that 2,000 years ago, a brotherhood of holy men and women living together in a community carried within themselves all of the seeds of Christianity and a future Western civilization. This brotherhood, more or less persecuted and ostracized, would bring forth people who would change the face of the world in the course of history. Indeed, among all of their principal founders of what would later be called Christianity were Essenes. Some of them were St. Anne Joseph, Mary, John the Baptist, Jesus, John the Evangelist, etc. The Essenes considered themselves to be a separate people, not because of external skin color, hair, but because of the illumination of their inner life and their knowledge of the hidden mysteries of nature unknown to other men. They considered themselves also to be part of a group of people at the center of all peoples, because everyone could become part of it as soon as they had successfully passed the selective test. They thought, and rightly so, that they were the heirs of God's sons and daughters of old, the heirs of their great ancient civilization. They possessed their advanced knowledge and worked assiduously in secret for the triumph of light over the darkness of the human mind. They felt that they had been entrusted with a mission which would turn out to be the founding of Christianity and of Western civilization. They were supported in this effort by highly evolved beings who directed the Brotherhood. They were true saints, masters of wisdom, hierophants of the ancient arts of mastery. They were not limited to a single religion, but studied all of them in order to extract the great scientific principles. They considered each religion to be a different stage of a single revelation. They accorded great importance to the teaching of the ancient Chaldeans, of Zoroaster, of Hermes Trismegistus, to the secret instructions of Moses and one of the founding masters of the order, who had transmuted techniques similar to those of Buddhism, as well as the revelation of Enoch. They possessed a living science of all these revelations. Thus they knew how to communicate with angelic beings, and had solved the question of the origin of evil on earth. One of their major preoccupations was to protect themselves from any contact with evil spirits, in order to preserve the purity of their souls. They knew that they would only be on earth for a short time, and they did not want to prostitute their eternal souls. It was this attitude, this strict discipline, this absolute refusal to lie or compromise that made them the object of so much persecution throughout the ages. The Essenes considered themselves guardians of the divine teaching. They had in their possession a great number of very ancient manuscripts, some of them going back to the dawn of time. A large portion of the school members spent their time decorating them, translating them into several languages, and reproducing them in order to perpetuate and preserve the advanced knowledge. They considered this work to be a sacred task. The Essenes considered their brotherhood, sisterhood, as the presence on earth of the teaching of the sons and the daughters of God. They were the light which shines in the darkness, and which invites the darkness to change itself into light. Thus, for them, when a candidate asked to be admitted to their school, it meant that within them a whole process of awakening of the soul was set into motion. Such a soul was ready to climb the stairs of the sacred temple of humanity. The Essenes differentiated between the souls which were sleepy, drowsy, and awakened. Their task was to help, to comfort, to relieve the sleeping souls, to try to awaken the drowsy souls, and to welcome and guide the awakened souls. Only the souls considered as awakened could be initiated into the mysteries of the brotherhood or sisterhood. Then began for them the path of evolution that could not stop anyone through the cycle of their incarnations. Everyone knew the brothers and sisters in white. The Hebrews called them the school of prophets, and to the Egyptians they were the healers, the doctors. They had property in nearly all of the big cities, and in Jerusalem there was even a door that bore their name, the door of the Essenes. Despite some fear and joking due to the rejection of that which one does not know, the people as a whole felt respect and esteem for the Essenes because of their honesty, their pacifism, their goodness, their discretion, and their talents as healers devoted to the poorest as well as the riches. They knew that the greatest Hebrew prophets came from the lineage of their schools. Moreover, even if the Brotherhood was very strict about the law of secrecy with regard to its internal doctrine, it cultivated many points of contact with the people, notably through places of lodging for the pilgrims from every horizon, through helpful actions of different periods, and especially through the healing of illnesses. These places of primary teaching and of healing were located in the precise areas where the people could go freely. So very interesting, very cool, and I have a link here you might want to check out. We can get into this more another time, but this is some recent stuff about the Essenes and who they are and organizations that's still existing to this day. All right, let's move on here. This is an article, Your Aura and How It Affects Others. Have you ever noticed people simply make you feel good by just looking at them? Have you ever observed someone for the first time and knew that there was something off with this person, even though this particular person has never said a word to you? As you experiments are conducted within this field, we find more and more astonishing results. For example, Russian professor Konstantin Korotkov found that upon death, the human aura will continue to charge for approximately 72 hours after being pronounced clinically dead. He stated that we are developing the idea for our consciousness as part of the material world, and with that, our consciousness, we can directly influence the world. Everything you know and see can boil down to energy. Plants, trees, and even inanimate objects such as gemstones can exhibit an aura. So everything shines an aura. Says your aura reflects the energy field that you are currently experiencing, as well as your overall psyche and emotional state of being. Kirlian photography is one way you can find out what your auras are. If you're different conferences and metaphysical events go there, they have them, and really cool to see what your picture looks like. And here's what you can do to really kind of how to see it. Stand or sit several feet from a mirror. Make sure you have a solid light colored background behind you. Look at yourself in the mirror. Focus your attention on outlining spot in your body. At first you might see a thin white or transparent image around your body. This white or transparent image will appear as a nearly clear form of energy, but you'll definitely see it. Remain focused. Eventually the white or transparent image will expand and become a noticeable color. Alright, so very good, very interesting thing, and it's important that we are aware of this information. Again, it all ties in to the same thing, our energy field. So the more that we understand our energy field, the better it is for us. Okay? And that's all we're doing every day, learning how to work with energy, to see our energy, to feel our energy, to see other people's energy, and get better and better at that. All right, here's a channeled message for today. This is called the Triumph Portal. It's for the next 21 days. Here we go.
The Triumph Portal next 21 days, Andromeda, by Anna Merkaba, on March 4, 2014.
The times of change has finally arrived, and we welcome each one of you to partake of the wisdom that has indeed been brought down through the central sun of Alcyone in the Pleiades. The time of change has indeed arrived, and the gates of foreclosure have indeed been lifted. Know that for the next 21 days of your earthly reality, the gates of great change and tremendous opportunity to channel this energy into the type of life you wish for yourselves and others shall be open to you. Dearly beloved children of the universe, the time has arrived for great change that shall unfold before you in your present reality on Gaia. For the informational decree that has indeed been delivered into the subatomic structure of the DNA and psyche of those dwelling on Gaia, has taken place. The time of change has indeed arrived, and upon the new moon's energies entering your Gaia, you have an opportunity to once again take charge of your earthly selves and your reality. For the power that is ingrained within you will magnify trifold, which will allow the energies of those who are in the process of awakening to be transmuted much faster, and as such will allow you to tap into the source of all that is to accomplish that which you are here to do at a magnificent pace. The great times of change are upon you. For the change that is to take place, is to take place from within the light of your own being. For through the informational decree which has been sent to you from Alcyone in the Pleiades, you are able to manipulate the data using the cortex of your subatomic structures within your psyche in order to catapult such data into the direction in which you wish your life to flow. And so with the new powerful energies, dearly beloveds, it is up to you to take one step, or a giant leap in the direction of your desires. Know that for the next 21 days of your earthly reality, the gates of great change and tremendous opportunity to channel this energy into the type of life you wish for yourselves and others shall be open to you. Energies and information decree unbeknownst to you prior, knowledge, access to which has been denied to you prior, is now readily available for your taking. And so, and thus, many of you shall begin to experience much upliftment, power, freedom, more information coming your way. Many more such synchronicities shall be projected onto you in order to propel you in the direction of your desires. And so, you are no longer to wait, but act upon such desires. Take every opportunity presenting itself to you, for the window of opportunity indeed is grand, the window of change is upon you. And so, for the duration of the next 21 days of your present reality, you are to take charge of your lives. Listen to the guidance, for the guidance that you shall begin to receive will become much clearer. The steps that you are to take will be outlined for you in your dream state, as well as your daily reality. Pay attention to that which your way comes, take every and all opportunities presenting themselves to you. Go where you have not gone before, allow yourself to let go of that which has been blocking yourself prior. Release your apprehensions and fears, for there is no place for such energies in the new vortex of time and space. For you are the brave ones who have traversed dimensions, galaxies, universes in order to arrive in your present-day reality to carry out the missions that you have come here to do. Allow yourselves to take in all the energies of the cosmic gateways of love, for your Earth, your beloved Gaia, has been flooded with informational decree unavailable to most in times past. And so and thus, understand that you will begin to see various phenomena occurring before your eyes. Understand and be ready to be visited yet again by beings of light, who will assist you in further acquiring the gifts that you have come to bring forth to humanity. Understand that each hour of every day of the window of opportunity your consciousness will expand trifold to allow the transformation to take place within your own selves and those around you, catapulting you into another state of being, into a higher dimension. Know that we are standing by you ready to assist you. That is all that we have for you now. We love you. We are with you. Goodbye for now.
All right. So it says 21 days. So that takes us, this was from the 4th. That takes us to the 25th. Hey, what else are we doing, right? So let's tune into these energies. Let's tune into the big positive change, because worst it's gonna do, it's gonna make us better, right? So let's jump into our meditation. I'm going to continue doing this same affirmation I did yesterday and the day before. The reason being, I'm just going to remind you, it's this one here. And they have this, it says 8-day challenge right here. 8-day morning. It says get up and just do this for 8 days in a row. Okay? So we've done it 2 so far. Today will be the 3rd one. Tomorrow will be the 4th. It's going to be up to you over the weekend to do this for yourself. And the next week I'll continue on. I think this is pretty good. Helps program ourselves, making us better, and that's what this is all about. If you think it's corny that we're doing all this, well, then you don't need to be over here listening to this station. But this is the one where we talk about positivity and do all these things that making us better, you know. All right, meditation time. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. One more deep breath. And exhale. Just let yourself feel the calm energy that's flowing through your body. And just breathe in and out. Just feel like a wave going back and forth. And as you feel the flow of this energy moving back and forth, you understand how the universe flows back and forth. And we learn that we don't always have to push. Sometimes we pull. Sometimes we rest, and times we go. And as we are moving with the flow of the universe, this back and forth, let our mind just contemplate these affirmations. I am feeling healthy and strong today. I have all that I need to make this a great day in my life. I have all the information I need to solve any challenges that come up today. I have the knowledge to make smart decisions for myself today. I have the right choices all day using my inner wisdom. I am happy and content with my life. I am patient and calm and greet the day with ease. I am filled with gratitude for another day on this earth. Let's let those ideas soak in. And again, contemplate these same ideas. I am feeling healthy and strong today. I have all that I need to make this a great day of my life. I have all the information I need to solve any challenges that come up today. I have the knowledge to make smart decisions for myself today. I make the right choices all day using my inner wisdom. I am happy and content with my life. I am patient and calm and greet the day with ease. I am filled with gratitude for another day on this earth. Take a deep breath and exhale, and just allow those words to settle into your consciousness, those positive words of affirmation that are going in. And again, I am feeling healthy and strong today. I have all that I need to make this a great day of my life. I have all the information I need to solve any challenges that come up today. I have the knowledge to make smart decisions for myself today. I make the right choices all day using my inner wisdom. I am happy and content with my life. I am patient and calm and greet the day with ease. I am filled with gratitude for another day on this earth. And just allow that gratitude to fill your being. And allow that gratitude just to spread outward from you, out into the world, to the world around you. And imagine yourself walking through the streets and this gratitude just pouring off of you. This energy going into the universe that is continually thanking the universe and expressing gratitude for what you are given. And as gratitude is expressed, the universe continues to give back even more. And we realize the secret of life is to just appreciate what we have. And as we do so, more is provided. And as we learn to work with our energy and balance our energy, we learn to share all that we have and realize that there is more than enough for everyone. For everyone to have as much as they would like. For this energy of life is abundant, endless, timeless. So just imagine yourself completely living in the abundance of the universe. Everything you need is available. All you need to do is ask, to imagine, to manifest. So as we go forth on this day, just imagine yourself manifesting into the world those things that you choose to manifest, while at the same time using your discernment to know how to avoid manifesting those things you do not want in your life. And last, let's just send love around the world. Love to assist all of those who are working to manifest their dreams and desires. Love to go to those who are confused, to remove the fear. And love to go to those who are the leaders around the world, that the love may go in and soften their hearts, that they may see the error of their ways and turn to truly helping the people. And for those that are unable to accept the love, just allow them to peacefully fade out of reality. And just imagine this place of love with only beings of love upon this earth. And this love reflecting out to the universe, to the brothers and sisters in space. And let's just go forth this day, just allowing that love to shine. So imagine your subconscious mind continue on this journey, just shining the love, not having to say anything, just allowing it to shine energetically. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. and open your eyes. Thank you very much, my friends, for being here. I very much appreciate it. I also appreciate that you've taken the time to share the shows, that you're sending me emails and comments. Thanks. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Till then, you have an awesome day. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.